Okie dokie artichoke. So welcome to a new Thursday Anonymous Q&A live edition. So we are switching it up a little bit. We're moving it up a day, and yeah, I'll probably do a poll to see like which days you like you like these. Ideally, I moved this up to Wednesday because I feel like Wednesday, I don't know, I feel like people are a little bit more active on Wednesday on social, and on Fridays they're just kind of like doing what they want to do, right? So yeah, as you're tuning in, let me know your name, let me know where you're from, where you're tuning in from, because I just want to know like where everyone's coming in from. Usually we get a good, diverse group here. Let me know your name, let me know where you're from. Hey Casey, and yeah, let's see like where everyone's coming in from, tuning in from. We get a diverse group in here. We get people from all over the US, Tiffany from Virginia Beach, Olive from Montana, Kristen from Texas, and I'll like read off your name and where you're from. And usually we have people from like international, you know what I mean? So we get a good group in here and it's a good time. So sit back, relax, and yeah, let's have some fun. So we got, sorry if I mispronounced your name too, I'm trying to get better at that. Sash from Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's checking in. DC, Palestine, Ashley, hey Ashley, Puerto Rico, Monica from Texas, Arizona, Sean from Arizona. And yeah, so I figured Tiffany from Georgia. So I'm getting better at these. This is 9 IG lives in a row. So we're gonna do a nice little special edition for 10 next week. And yeah, Jordan from Uganda. Okay, let's go. Abby from Florida. Loving it. Gianna from LA. New York. Okay. And yeah, Demetra from Pittsburgh. And yeah, so Elena from Toronto. And yeah, so basically I'm getting better at these because I am doing more prep for these. London, UK in here, okay? I'm doing more prep for these. So last time I did like 20 minutes of prep. This one I did an hour's worth of prep for this IG live because we're hi from Hollywood, okay? Team Hollywood checking in. Yeah, also like this one we did an hour's worth of prep because I want these to be good. I want these to be beneficial. I want to serve. I want you to take a nugget away from this so that whether you're catching it live, whether you're catching it on the replay, that you can just say like, hey, I watched Connor's live today and I got this little nugget from his live, or I got this little nugget from his video, and I'm a better person because I watched this. So that's like how my intent is like coming into these. So yeah, hopefully I can serve you. Hopefully you can become better from like watching these. Again, this is my 9th one in a row. So if you want to check out any of the other lives, I feel like you can like check them in the episodes or something. So yeah, so we have dwindled these questions down, these anonymous questions down to 5 questions with like a 6th little bonus one that I think you guys will like. Yeah, so these are basically the 5 highlights that I'm going to go over. And I'm going to try and keep this at like 30 minutes so we don't like run overtime or anything like that. And this doesn't get like boring or anything like that. So hopefully you don't feel bored like watching me and stuff. So yeah, so these are going to be the 5 highlights today. We're going to talk about friends. We're going to talk about manifestation. We're going to talk about encouragement, overthinking. And then we're going to talk about meeting someone in person versus online and like what my personal preference would be. So Aruba in the house. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Paul from London, UK here. Let's go. Let's go, Paul. So yeah, let's get into it. So during my research, so I know these are like anonymous Q&A and like I'm supposed to give my answers to these, but I feel like sometimes it's better if I like cite my answers, you know, it's a little bit more repeatable. So yeah, so with these highlights, whenever I'm going to talk about friends, we're going to talk a little bit about Jay Shetty, a little bit of Robert Greene. When we're talking about manifestation, we're going to talk about Dr. Joe Dispenza. We're going to talk about encouragement. We're going to talk about Andy Frisella. Overthinking, Jocko Willink. And then the last one is just going to be like my personal opinion and my personal preference. If like I want to meet someone, like dating wise, if I want to meet someone in person or online. So yeah, Angelica from New Jersey. Let's go, New Jersey in the house. So yeah, and then I'll give you like my 2 cents. Obviously like my answer, like off of like some of those things, you know? So yeah. All right, let's get into it. So that's my little 5-minute intro, my 5-minute script. Hopefully that wasn't too bad getting through. And yeah, so let's talk about friends. Let's talk about friends first. So this question on friends, like the first one, that's number one, is this. So question is, how do you recommend men in their early 20s try and make like-minded friends? I don't drink or watch sports, but I love the gym and spiritual stuff. So yeah, this question, like literally, this is me. This is me right now too. So yeah. So basically, how do you recommend making friends? Like when you're like, you know, just getting into adulthood, you're growing up in your early 20s. I'm sure like a lot of people can relate to this if like they're in that phase right now, it's coming up, or like, you know, they just passed that or whatnot. So yeah, I would say like personally for me, I think that you'll just naturally sort of meet people when you start to like frequent or go to certain places that you just really enjoy going to. And they'll just like naturally be sort of drawn to you. Like you'll sort of meet those kinds of people if you're going to those places that you enjoy going to, right? Like you said, like going to the gym, really enjoy going to that. They'll gravitate to you. Thank you for that word. That's what I was looking for. So like the gym, if you go, you know, the gym every single day, like if you're going there, you'll naturally meet people that have that similar mindset, right? If you're going to like church once a week, you'll naturally meet people that have that kind of lifestyle or mindset, right? And like that's kind of how I met the people that are in my circle right now, like just being your authentic self, exactly. And you know, obviously like you don't really have to, I mean, obviously there's things like on top of that, it's like going up and introducing yourself to someone or something like that. Obviously, right? But like, I feel like naturally just placing yourself in those situations, like you'll naturally sort of just gravitate towards people that you would want to sort of be in your circles. And you can also use social media too. Like I've met a lot of people like over social media that have a similar mindset, right? So I think that's super beneficial too. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about something I read from or heard Jay Shetty speak on, and it was sort of about like he mentions sort of how about being okay with being alone, and I think that's like something that a lot of people are afraid of doing. Like no one wants, you know, it's sort of like kind of scary to be on your own, right, or alone, especially if you're like you don't have a similar like mindset as like other people that like maybe that they do, right? And you don't really want to like go down a certain path or something like that. You kind of want to like stay on the straight and narrow, or like, you know, you want to have these good morals, good values, good virtues, and just like continue to like double down on those. And that's like not for everyone, right? So it's going to be common that you're going to be sort of alone, right? And so the thing that Jay Shetty actually speaks about, I heard him say, was he's actually quoting this philosopher. His name is Paul Tillich, and he says he was kind of distinguishing between being alone and being in solitude, right? So basically he says that solitude is the strength of being alone, and that there's two words in the English language to describe being alone, right? So there's lonely and then there's solitude, right? And so basically we always typically like to think of the word like lonely, and we never really use this word called solitude, right? And basically he's saying is that there's so much power in being in solitude, and there's so much strength in being in solitude, and there's so much joy of being in solitude and being alone by yourself, right? So I think like cultivating a mindset of being okay with being alone sometimes, like maybe you're like in this middle ground or this no man's land of like transitioning. Maybe you move to a new city or something like that. Maybe you frequently move to new cities or something, and you're like trying to cultivate a good environment around you. And you're in this no man's land of like, oh, I don't have any like new good people, good relationships, good friendships to like surround myself with yet, to like rub off on me and have a good impact on me yet. Sort of like finding like power, strength, joy in being alone and by yourself, and frequenting those places that you really enjoy going to, like the gym, church, you know, some other places or something like that. People will just like naturally gravitate to you if you sort of have that mindset of like, I'm cool with being alone, but I'm also cool with with wanting people like in my circle that have a similar mindset as me. So hopefully that made sense. And that's all that I really wanted to say on friends. And hopefully that answered your question. If you're watching this right now or on the replay. If you're watching the replay, like let me know, leave a comment down below. and yeah. Also, if you're going to church alone, like maybe you'll meet someone that you can just like go to church with them and like sit by them. Or if you're going to the gym like alone, like maybe you'll meet someone at the gym and like you'll be able to get like hit a workout together or something like that. Whenever you like go and see them again or something like that. I don't know. So yeah. So that's like the one highlight that I want to talk about with friends. Number 2, we're going to talk about manifestation. So talk a little bit about Dr. Joe Dispenza and his research, because that's really benefited me and why I believe in it. So yeah, let's get into that a little bit. And yeah, so the question on this is the following. So it's just, do you believe in manifestation? So yes, my answer is hardcore yes, capital letters. So yeah, and so basically I'd say like last year I really got into the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. Like I don't know if you know who that is, but he has some really great books out there that I would recommend. The 3 that I read last year were called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, You Are the Placebo, and Becoming Supernaturals. So that's like the order of them, I believe. I kind of read them out of order. I read Becoming Supernatural first, and then I read Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and then I read You Are the Placebo. But they're all sort of books about like sort of getting out of your own way, right? And like actualizing and visualizing the future that you want to bring into your life. Can I manifest into being your friend? Of course you can. Yeah, so like they're all about having good intent in your heart, like visualizing, like really clearly, like feeling how you would feel if this was your life, right? If you had, like some of the things that I like to like journal and visualize every day is like, when I'm older, like 5-10 years out, like years from now, I guess, is like I want to have 2 dogs, like I want to have a wife, I want to have a family, I want to have a home, right? And it's sort of like feeling how you would feel in the present, like right at this very moment, if you like this was actually your world, right? It's sort of kind of like sounds kind of like far out there if you're sort of like new to that, right? But I'm like a full on believer in all of it, right? So I realized like this isn't, I sort of think like it's inevitable, like that's already in my future and that's going to happen, like, and I'm already sort of ahead of the game, progressively like feeling like it's already exists, right? And it's just a matter of time, like it's literally inevitable, it's just a matter of time until like that comes into my life, right? It's all about like law of attraction, it's all about having good intent in your heart, like feeling like the universe is going to reward you for having good intent in your heart, and really wanting that for like yourself, but more importantly, like wanting that for other people too, right? So I made a podcast on this, on my Law of Attraction podcast. If you want to check that out, it's literally titled like why I chose to title, like the episode is about like why I chose to title my podcast Law of Attraction, but it's like all about that. So 100%, we believe in manifestation. It's just a matter of time before all these things come into your life. You just sort of have to have good intent in your heart, want that for other people, work hard, be good to other people, and like it's literally going to be inevitable. It'll come into your life. So it's just like trying not to get distracted, right? It's just like sort of like feeling good about all that before it actually happens, and then it's like magic, like when it happens, right? Magic, which is like your work ethic and like your effort in placing yourself like in that vibration, if you will. So yeah, check those books out. Again, those were Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, You're the Placebo, and Becoming Supernatural. Could not recommend those 3 books more by Dr. Joe Dispenza. They really helped me. I use one of his meditations every single day when I'm foam rolling and stretching after my workouts and stuff. So yeah, definitely recommend like checking those out if you're like wanting to like learn more about that. So yeah, so we got friends checked off the list. We got manifestation checked off the list. Number 3 is going to be centered around encouragement. So here's the question. Believe it, see it. Love that. We love that. So so this number 3 highlight is going to be about encouragement. So the question here is, can you share any words of encouragement for those people who are struggling with being physically fit? Absolutely. So, can you share any encouraging words, any words of encouragement for those people who are struggling with being physically fit? Yeah. So, what I would say to this would be, so one of the podcasts that I listen to every single day, for the most part, I have about like 4 now that I'll just see if there's like new episodes on, right? It's Real AF with Andy Frisella, Jordan Peterson podcast, Andy Huberman's podcast called Huberman Lab, and there's a 4th one. Oh, Ed Milet Show. The Ed Milet Show. That's like the 4th one that I like just got into a little bit. But yeah, to talk a little bit more about like encouragement, words of encouragement for people that struggle with being physically fit, and maybe they're like at the start of their fitness journey, and wanting to like make a change for the better. So yeah, I can speak a little bit on this. So I'll just talk a little bit about some of the things and some of the insight and advice that I took from listening to Andy Frisella's podcast, Real AF. It's more like businessy sort of, but he's the creator of 75 Hard. He's got a great supplement company called First Form. And so some of the things that he sort of lives by, he's like a super, super successful entrepreneur, and like I just love listening to his insight and advice. So one of the things that he says, and like one of the pillars of the program of 75 Hard and Live Hard, is like taking everything like one day at a time and controlling what you can control. So what does he mean by that? Like, what do I mean by that? So like there's things in your life every single day that you're not going to be able to control. Like there's things in your life every single day that are actually fully like within your control, right? So, every single day there's going to be like part of your day where you're probably going to have it not go how you expected or want it to go, right? But like there's these, there's a handful of things that you can't control, which include what your movement throughout the day, like how much exercise you do, what you eat, what you drink, what you put in your brain, right? Like these 4 things, like you're fully in control over, right? You're fully in control how much you exercise, like how much your movement, you're fully in control how much you eat, you're fully in control how much you drink, like what you drink, and you're fully in control of what you put in your brain, right? So those are the things that I really took from doing 75 Hard and doing Live Hard last year in 2022. But yeah, really just like boiling it down to understanding like there are things that are fully within our control that we can control. I can stick to a diet, like I can stick to my macros, I can stick to my those things throughout the day. I can stick to like my water goals through the day. Like I don't have to drink alcohol. I can like cut that out of my system. Like that doesn't serve me in any way. I can just drink my water. The third one is like exercise. Like I can fully control like getting in my workouts for the day. I can fully control like what I put in my brain. I'd say like that's probably the hardest thing to control is like what you put into your brain, right? And some of the things that I like to do are I like to read just 10 pages a day from like a book, and then I also like to listen to a podcast, just like one podcast episode every single day, and I usually listen to it while I'm working out, and I usually read my 10 pages like while I'm just walking on the treadmill. So I sort of just like knock out 2 birds with 1 stone with like doing those like already healthy sort of things. And the rest of everything that's like fully not within your control, it's like expecting that your day is probably not going to go how you want it to go. It's probably not going to go exactly how you expect it to go, and the timing in which you want it to go and you want it to unfold, and being okay with that. And that's like the hardest thing to come to, I feel like, is knowing that there's probably going to be problems that come up, like really, really big problems. Like maybe it's like tomorrow that you can't even foresee coming, or it's like something happened to you, something happening to you, or something happening to someone you care about that like on the outside looking in might like shatter your world, right? But controlling these things that you can control sort of like gives you this foundation that, at least for me, like I'm okay with this like unknown over here that I don't know what's going to happen, right? And it's like, you know, who knows what's going to happen today that I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be unexpected and I'm going to have to fix it or deal with it and like be there for someone or something like that. But I can control these things, and as long as I do these things, I'm good, right? So yeah, just taking things like one day at a time. It probably seems like super far off for you if like you're super early in your fitness journey or something like that, right? If you're like, one thing that also, not to like get too far off this tangent, but like when I go to the gym and I see someone there's someone that's early on in their fitness journey and they're wanting to make that change in their world and their life, dude, like that like gives me goosebumps, you know, like seeing someone that's like, that inspires me so much, you know, to see someone that's, cause like, I don't know, like when I first started going to the gym, I'm just like, all right, this is really scary. I don't know what I'm doing. Everyone's looking at me and I'm uncomfortable and I want to leave. I don't want to be here, right? And I'm just thinking in my head, like if that's how I thought, like that's probably how everyone feels like when they're at the gym, right? And that's like a super scary thing and super uncomfortable thing. And just like, I admire anyone that's like doing that, like braving and having the courage to do that and start that. Because that's like one of the hardest things to do, is to be like, all right, this is where I am right now. I accept myself with where I am right now, and I know that I can be better and I can be so much better than where I'm at right now. And I accept where I'm at right now, and I'm gonna fix like where I'm at right now. Yeah, actually, let me read some of these because they're actually good. And I think starting your day with self-encouragement and replacing those negative thoughts with positive ones will probably make someone's day start better and give someone more motivation and encouragement. I love that. Don't stress over the things you have no control over. I'm loving these comments, guys. I'm loving them. You have to start somewhere. Exactly, London. You got that right. So, yeah, it's just taking things one day at a time, accepting yourself each and every day along that timeline, and just starting to like speak to yourself in like a better way, like not criticizing yourself, like looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, hey, you're a pretty cool dude. Like you're a stud, man. You know, there's nothing you can't do. And just starting to like treat yourself, like you got to be your best friend first. Like that's what I like to say, is like, you got to be your best friend first. And then you can go pour out into everyone else. So, yeah, that's my little thing on encouragement, is hopefully that helps, like taking things one day at a time and controlling what you can control, being okay with other things that you can't control, and starting to speak to yourself in like an encouraging way and being your friend, being your best friend first. So that's what my insight, my advice like on that part would be. Positive self-talk is the best. Positive affirmations every day. Yeah, we love it. We love it. We love it. So yeah, we got two more that I just wanted to go over real quick with you guys, and I'll let you have a lovely Thursday night, or Thursday day, or Friday if it's already Friday for you. And yeah, so appreciate you spending some time with me. If you're catching it right now, or if you're catching on the replay, it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to have your guys' support and using your time with me. So yeah. We are our own worst critics, so be kind and shower yourself with aloha. We love it. We love it. All right, so question number 4 is on overthinking. This is already the best IG Live yet. I already know. I can feel good vibes from it. I'm getting better at this. I'm loving these comments. We're getting like a good vibe going right here. Hopefully this is serving. This is benefiting you, because I'm enjoying it right now. So. All right, we're going to talk about overthinking. So this is what we got on here on overthinking. This is the question. What do you do to try to keep your mind at ease when you find yourself overthinking? So, yeah, what do you do? What should you do if you find to keep your mind at ease to prevent yourself from overthinking? When you find yourself overthinking. So, yeah. So I was listening to this podcast on Andy Huberman's podcast when he was actually interviewing Jocko Willink. So Jocko Willink is this retired Navy SEAL officer. This man is like the baddest ass dude I've ever listened to. He's got so much wisdom, and he's so knowledgeable and insightful, and he's a very admirable male figure that I looked up to. And so so what Jocko said on this podcast with Andy Huberman was basically he says like you have to be the counterweight. He was sort of talking about this with other people. They were talking about leadership, right? And like that's sort of like what Jocko is known for, is like this leadership aspect and quality that he sort of like goes to companies and like preaches, and he has like that business sort of about it, right? But he was talking about being this counterweight when it comes to being a leader, right? But I thought it was applicable to this question because I think it's kind of serves, this is kind of how I view it when I find myself overthinking, is like, I sort of have this like level-headed, like balanced, like something inside me, right? There's this counterweight that I sort of lean into, this peace, I guess I would kind of call it, if I ever find myself like overthinking or overstressing or overworrying about something. I sort of kind of remind myself to like be this counterweight to myself. But like maybe probably easier to think about this if you're trying to like, maybe you have like a family member or a best friend or something like that that's like freaking out or something like that. Being able to be the counterweight to like whatever they're feeling, to be like, if they're like feeling down in the dumps and you're trying to like comfort them, saying like, I don't know, saying whatever they need to hear to like bring them back up to this like balanced state. Or if they're like, you know, overjoyed or overjoyous, to be like, I don't know, they're like high in life or something like that. And, you know, sort of like joining in on that, like, joy and like that moment with them. Right. But like, I just try and remind myself that you've always made the right decision up until this point. Right. So I was kind of talking about this with my friend a little bit ago, and I was thinking like, think about like all these times in your life where you've sort of come to this point of, you like this crossroads of like a decision where like you could go left or right, like a big decision in your life, right? And looking back on my life, like I don't personally feel like I have made any catastrophic decisions, like went down the wrong way, went down the wrong path. Like looking back on it, like I personally think that like for the most part, 99% of the time, like you've always made the right decision up until this point in your life. And I would say just like that's sometimes like something that God has a plan, of course, Lauren, we love that. Just like sort of reminding yourself that, damn, like giving yourself some credit, like a pat on the back, like high five, like knuckles, that you've always made the right decision amidst maybe some like pretty tough decisions, like up until this point in your life, for the most part, right? And just finding some peace in that, knowing like if there's ever something that's like in the future that you don't know when it's going to come, like a hard decision, maybe that's like changing your career, maybe that's you know, breaking off a relationship, maybe that's starting a relationship, maybe that's starting a business, maybe that's moving to a new city. Like maybe all these decisions like are out in this future that like you don't know how you could possibly manage that or make a decision from that, right? Just finding some peace and knowing that like I'm just like when I get to that point and I have this, granted like these decisions are going to be have more weight on them, they're going to be more costly, right? That you hopefully make that right decision. I just sort of like resort to this piece of knowing that like up until this point, most of the time I have made the right decision. And I know like whenever that tough thing comes, or like if I'm overthinking about something, usually it's about a decision that I have to make or something like that. That's like a hard decision. That's usually what I overthink about. It's thinking like, that doesn't serve me in any way, and I sort of just find some peace in knowing that like my past has shown that I have always made the right decision, and it's always going to work out, right? Like you'll never, another thing I'll tell myself is like you'll never feel ready, but you'll always be okay, right? So even if you make a decision like 1% of the time that's maybe not the best decision, and sometimes there is no best decision, right? Like sometimes it's going to be like choosing between two hard things, right? Like and you just got to choose the lesser of two hards, right? So yeah, it's just knowing that like you're never gonna feel ready. You'll always be okay. You can always recover from whatever decision you make. Like everything is temporary. Nothing is permanent. No decision is permanent. Like I used to be super freaking indecisive, super indecisive. I think that's where like all of this, I think like insight and like what I tell myself comes from. But yeah, like every decision is temporary. No decision is permanent. You can always recover from a decision. Sometimes you're gonna have to choose between the lesser of two evils, and just knowing that like most of the time you've always made the right decision up until this point, right? And that like you'll never feel ready. You'll always be okay. You're always gonna be okay. You will always be okay regardless of what decision. It's always gonna work out. And yeah, just finding some peace in that. So that's like what I would say to that overthinking question. And hopefully that helps. So yeah, we got our last one. We're coming up on we're closing the loop on this one, on this IG Live number 9. And so yeah, those were all like the existential questions. Now we're getting into like one looking good, brother. Appreciate it, Caleb. Hope you're doing well, man. And so yeah, this is the last question. And so this is on like meeting like someone that you want to start a relationship with or something like that. So and like sort of another question that's in here. So yeah. All right. So this question goes like this. Would you rather meet someone online through a dating app or meet them in person? Also, do you like anyone at the moment? So yeah, I'll give my 2 cents on this one. I'll give you a little caramel sauce at the very end for anyone who sticked around, anyone that watched the replay until now. So yeah, but I personally want to meet someone that I want to start dating and start a relationship with in person or on a dating app, and if I like anyone at the moment. So personally, I would prefer it if I met someone in person. And in person would be great. I don't know if there's something about like fate that I just like met someone in person like by chance. I'm just like, damn, okay, you're pretty cool. I like your vibe, and I don't know, like I just like ran into you, right? And I'm like, I can't get her off my mind or something like that, you know? And like she feels the same way. I'd prefer to meet someone in person. I think it's more natural. I feel like it's more. Who knows? It probably is the same like rate of success if you met someone in person or you met someone from online, or you met someone from online you already knew online in person. I don't know, but like I'd probably prefer to meet someone in person, and I'd probably just choose that because it's like it just seems more natural, and there's some like I don't know, universe God aspect into thinking like, how did we cross paths like at this moment, you know? So like that's probably what I would just say on that one. And yeah, I do like someone right now. I do like someone very much right now, and yeah, that's what I'll say to that. So yeah, and yeah, extra little caramel sauce just to throw in here real quick. Like I did on the last one, it's kind of like an either or thing. Like last time I did pizza or burgers, so it's kind of cheesy, but who cares? It's a good way to cut it. It's a good way to end it on your little Thursday night, Thursday Anonymous Q&A Live number 9 night session. And so yeah, hey Bree, yeah, but yeah. So little caramel sauce to end this one on your Thursday is going to be this: mountains or beach? Mountains or beach? Last time we did pizza or burgers, and we went burgers. This time it's going to be mountains or beach. I actually did I used to have a dating highlight. I kind of got rid of it because it's like, I don't know. I don't really need that up there anymore. But yeah. Have a good night, Kendall. Yeah. But yeah. And that engagement poll question essentially was like if you were to get proposed to, or if you're like a man that wants to propose, like would you do it either I think it was specifically like at Pikes Peak in Colorado, because like that's where I was at the moment, like at the day, or Malibu, El Matador Beach in Malibu. So it's like mountains or beach if you're like proposing or wanting to get proposed to. I personally, actually, let me know like what you would want. Would you want, what are you? Are you more like beachy? Are you like more of a beach person or mountains? Mountains or beach? Which one are we feeling? Which one are we feeling? Mountains or beach? Beach, mountains, beach, Malibu. All right, mountains. It's pretty split. I feel like that's what the results were like on that engagement poll. Never mind mountains. Mountains. The Jordan Elizabeth going with mountains. Berea saying never mind mountains. Beach, mountains for sure. Bill's going beach. Yeah, we love a hike to the beach. Alex is going beach. You know what? I'm personally saying beach. I'm not really like a mountains guy, to be honest with you. I think they're cool, but I can't really ski. I can't really snowboard. I've done each of them. Not very good. And probably that's why I'm not very good. It's because like I haven't done it enough. But yeah. So I'm going beach on this one. I go to the beach with my family every year, so that's probably why I'm saying that. And yeah, so that wraps it up. That's all I got on this Thursday night anonymous Q&A. Let me know if you catch it on the replay after I post it. But I hope this served you in some way or another. And yeah, I hope you got better from watching this. So I love you guys always. Thank you for the support, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.